Damn it! Piece of crap. Oh! Damn it! Crack. And knowing what I know now, I could tell you one thing that I would not have done. Hey everybody, Kyle here with Spicer Designs. Welcome back to the channel. And this is part 6 of the shop build out. If you've missed any of the other 5 videos, I do have a separate playlist. If you just go to our channel page, you can click on playlists and you'll see shop build out right there. I've already ran all the air lines through the building, installed a 100 amp sub panel on the opposite end of the shop from the main panel, ripped all of the framing off of this wall and completely reframed it due to an absolute horrific job that the original people did. Installed all of my electrical boxes and ran everything in conduit. We'll be pulling that wire in a future video and going over some of the circuitry. And I hit the jackpot with a Facebook Marketplace find that I'll be using here in the shop. As for today's video, I have a bit of an experiment here. At this point, I haven't started. I have no idea if it's going to work or if it's going to fail. Either way, I'm still gonna post this video. I just hope that it works. So there is the front of the shop. We've got the Boss 4x8 plasma table right here. That table is extremely heavy. The table itself weighs approximately 3,000 pounds. There's also an internal compartment or void inside of this table that holds 176 or so gallons of water, which adds an additional weight of around 1,500 pounds. So total weight, 4,500 pounds, give or take. And 3 of the 6 legs on the table are sitting on the slab in question. Ideally, I'm gonna wanna remove that weight from that slab before I do anything. Moving over to the back of the shop and the back side of the slab, you'll see there has been a shift. The biggest difference between these 2 slabs is about 3/8 of an inch. It's not a real big deal. It is a bit of a tripping hazard. I've definitely tripped on it before. A lot of the stuff that I have in the shop has wheels on it and they constantly get hung up, so I'd like to resolve it. Now, as I move over to the exterior wall, that shift is not nearly as much. It's maybe a 1/16 of an inch. It really isn't bad. But I want to get this slab adjusted before I put that lower steel on because I don't want it shoving up on that wall and jacking things up. It's already going to a little bit, but I'd rather do it now before the steel's on it. Moving back around over toward the front section of the slab, this area is absolutely perfect. No issue whatsoever, nice and flat. And it stays flat all the way over to that other side. So we're good here, and on the opposite side, we're sunken down. So the plan is to lift it completely from that side. And by doing that, it should almost hinge on that side, and that hopefully will carry some of the weight so I'm not lifting as much over here. Now, just to be clear, I am not an expert on this at all. I've never done this before. This is straight up an experiment. My buddy Doug from One Eye Customs was interested in how much this slab weighed, and I did some calculations on ChatGPT. Well, I didn't do them, ChatGPT did it. So I just figured it at a 12 by 12. Son of a bitch, Randy. So I figured 12 by 12 by 5 inches thick, and that was roughly around 9,000 pounds. And if we utilize that hinge point on the other side, it should take off roughly half the weight. An estimated amount of weight would be somewhere around 4,500 pounds that we're trying to lift 3/8 of an inch. And I made a little Home Depot run today. I've got all my supplies that I'm planning on doing this with. Got like a 4 3/8 concrete hole saw. That is a larger hole that I'm gonna drill, and that's where I'm gonna kind of be able to do somewhat of a visual down underneath that subgrade. And this is where I would fill the self-leveling cement right here. And this is Cementol by Rapid Set. It's a high strength, excellent bond, hardens underwater, interior, exterior. It's for concrete repair, underlayment, anchoring, industrial grouting, and casting. Where the hell's the PSI? You don't speak Spanish. 3 hours, it's good for 5,000 PSI, 24 hours, 6,000 PSI, 7 days, 7,000 PSI, 28 days, 9,000 PSI. Is this gonna work? If I know. Along with this stuff, I have some 1/2-inch drop-in anchors. I used these a ton when I was working as an electrician. Also have some 1/2-inch all-thread. Got a couple little chisel bits, and I have the set for the drop-ins. This just pounds down in there to set it. And that's really it. We're outside now, behind the shop. This right here is the main piece of the puzzle. This is 4-inch C-channel that I've been hoarding. I got this off of a job site a while back. These were used to mount some stadium lights on a football field. It was probably one of the sketchiest jobs I've ever done. We were maxed out on an 80-foot man lift and had to pull all this down. The weight limit was going off. It was a disaster. Anyways, I saved all this. They were just gonna toss it. I'm gonna take, damn, what the hell? I'm gonna take these inside. They are so heavy. Oh my God. Slip on the snow and bust my ass. Yep. I'm gonna grab three of them. At least 100 pounds apiece. Beefy. Now, I already know what you guys are screaming at me right now. Just call a company that'll come out and inject the slab with foam and it will just raise it up. I did touch on that in some previous videos. So I had an appointment set up with a company. They called me the night before to confirm the appointment. It wasn't until then he brought it to my attention. No matter what the situation is, small slab, large slab, it's a minimum of $2,000, in which I said, well, shave my fur and call me Daryl. That's not happening. So I canceled the appointment, and right now I have 270, 13, 72, about $283 in materials. I already had that steel C-channel. Worst case scenario, I'm out about 300 bucks, which I don't want that to happen, but I also don't want to spend $2,000 for a slab that's only 3/8 of an inch off. If that's the case, I'll just deal with it. So what I've done is pulled out all that joint filler. You can see down in there quite a bit. It almost looks to me like the concrete shrunk, which caused it to break apart at that relief joint, because this relief joint is really wide. And over here, it's even wider. I mean, I could damn near get my finger down in there. It's probably 3/8 of an inch. And then over here, where it's good, maybe a little heavy on an 1/8, that looks about what a demo saw would do. So I'm not sure what happened here. It's like that whole slab just kind of drifted or shrunk. I don't know. If this does work, this is either going to be a temporary fix or maybe a permanent fix. If it doesn't work, the plan is going to be to rip this entire section of concrete out and just re-pour it. But I don't want to do that until I have more concrete work, just so I'm not getting stuck with the minimum on concrete. All right, next step, I'm going to get the Boss plasma table jacked up, at least on the one side. The good thing about this table is it is built like a tank, and I'd have to say that you could probably use this table to build a tank. That will definitely take some of the weight off the one side of this slab before we start cranking on it. I'm trying to figure out how I want to configure these things, because I want to get an anchor point maybe here and here, so 2 of them on that one, maybe 2 of them on that one, definitely 1 over here. I don't know if I maybe should add a 3rd on that one. That is definitely where it's the lowest, in that corner, but I don't want to have 3 of them in a straight line and cause a point for it to fracture. I think it's going to be pure luck. I'm going to turn these on end where they're the strongest. I'm going to drill a hole in this bottom flange. Right below it, I'm going to install those drop-in anchors, and I'll have a piece of all thread coming up through the steel. So basically I created a little bridge from a good section of slab to another good section of slab, and I'm going to just have a nut on that all thread as it comes through here, and I'm going to tighten down on all of them evenly. I'm just going to keep circulating around and just keep tightening them until I can get the slab to start lifting. Maybe it won't lift at all. I don't know. Maybe it'll just snap on me. Maybe the drop-ins will just pull right out of the concrete. It's really hard to say, but I think for 300 bucks, it's worth trying. In a lot of situations that this would be a good technique to use. Like if you had just a small sidewalk section and only one area of it has sunk down, I think this is a viable option. Well, I'm gonna spend a little bit of time figuring out the placement on all these anchors. I'm gonna get all of the steel drilled out and get the concrete marked. The next step is going to be installing these drop-ins, and then from there, we're gonna be jacking this thing up. I'm not trying to draw this thing out, I just wanna kind of show you all the steps here. I have a feeling we're gonna end up with some cracked concrete and a big fail. Now for these 1/2-inch drop-in anchors, you need to use a 5/8 masonry bit, and I've already put on a little flag here. You'll see what that does in a minute. Mostly it's just kind of like a depth gauge. So I've got it set about 3 inches deep. I'm hoping that that puts me just past the middle of the slab. I don't want it too close to the surface where it wants to blow out the surface of the concrete, and I don't want it too deep to where when I go to set it, it blows through the bottom. These things are pretty easy to do. Now we're gonna have the threads sticking up. Basically, there's just like a little wedge anchor in there, and there's slots that are cut around the surface of this thing. Once we take this set and we smack it, it'll drive that wedge down and lock it in place. So we'll just drop her in there. All right, we're at the bottom. Now I'm gonna give it a good, there we go, it is set. That's all there is to it. You can see it down in there. You might see me laying down on my belly. Just don't worry about that. Otherwise, I'm gonna get this vacuumed out and it'll be ready for the all thread. Even before that, I'll get the rest of these holes done, and we're gonna be getting real close to seeing if this is gonna work or not. I doubt it. Get it nice and deep. Forgot to mention, you could flip over the set to get it to bottom out, and then give it the old wackaroo. Ah, what the hell? All right, that didn't go too bad. I have all these studs in there. They're all trimmed down, cut, and screwed in, and it all went pretty well. I was kind of worried that it's going to blow through the bottom at 3 inches. You know, just assuming the slab is 4 inches, you know, I'd only have an inch there, and I didn't want to blow through that last little bit of concrete. Now, this one, it did blow through, and it blew through. I was probably only 2 inches deep, so it kind of worries me that the slab is really thin right here. If it is, you know, it's going to crack at that weak point. Otherwise, these other ones went in no problem. And I only have 3 nuts. I mean, I have 5 altogether, just only 3 that I can use. I thought I had more, but I don't. So when my neighbor gets home, I'm gonna go over and see if I could borrow a couple from him. I need to drill that 4-inch access hole because I don't wanna do it when there's tension on all of these individual points. I'm afraid that the vibration could make it crack. So I'd rather get that 4-inch hole in now. Should be a big enough hole that I can get my hand in there and maybe even my fist, I don't know. I don't know how this is gonna go. Well, I know I need earplugs. Wow, what a hole. I was right. Ow. A little tight. So this isn't very promising. That's only like maybe 3 inches of concrete, a little bit of stone underneath it. Then there's a moisture barrier or a vapor barrier. So that's, I don't know, a good sign, I guess. And it looks like there's more stone underneath that too. I'm not sure exactly what's happened here. I don't know why the concrete is so thin. And I have a really good feeling that it's gonna crack on us. And by us, I mean me. Anyways, it is 6:44. I didn't have a whole lot of time on this. I've maybe been working on this for like 3 hours, but I still gotta cut my hair, shave. Tomorrow is Wednesday, and I'm gonna be going to the Farm and Machinery Show in Louisville, Kentucky. Hopefully I'll get to meet some viewers of the channel. No one probably really wants to talk to me. Otherwise, I'll see you guys on Thursday, which makes no difference to you. And we can go ahead and break this slab of concrete, because that's what's gonna happen. Do-do-do-do-do-do. I'm back. Check this out, I finally got rid of all that waste oil. I think I had almost 20 gallons of waste oil. I went ahead and threw it on Facebook Marketplace for free, and it was gone in a day. Well, I had a pretty good time at the Farm and Machinery Show in Louisville, Kentucky. Got to see all of my other YouTube buddies. And I brought my buddy, John. He is a local farmer here in town. Really nice guy. He brought his 2 sons. They were an absolute blast to hang out with. Jack and Harry had me cracking up the whole time. I'm pretty sure they got every sticker they could possibly get in that entire building. They had a lot of really cool machines there. Machine. Well, not really. Case had a really nice tractor. It was massive. I have no idea what model it was, but it was all painted up with the American flag. It was kind of another one of their, PR machines that they probably take to shows and whatnot. Otherwise, it was a really good time. We went out to dinner afterwards and headed back home. Back to reality. There's nothing left to do besides jack this thing up. Let's do it. Oh no. This is the one that punched through. I don't know if it's gonna work or not. I have a feeling it's not. Well, I think we're finally ready to make an attempt here. Here's what I want you to do. Pause the video, and I want you to go in the comments section and tell me what you think is gonna happen. Now be honest, don't skip to the end of the video to see what the actual outcome is. I wanna know if it's gonna work or if it's gonna crack, because I really don't know right now, but it's time to find out. Before I do that, if you guys are enjoying this video, please just take a second and like this video. These videos are a lot of work. I try to get a video out every single week, so if you're new here to the channel and you just popped in to see this one video, consider checking out some of our other content. I think that you'll definitely find something that you like, and consider subscribing. I know I would greatly appreciate it. That's all I have to say about that. I think it's moving. No way. Start going one crank at a time. It is moving. It is moving. You got to be shitting me. Holy crap. Killing my knees. As I come back to the first one or the last one, however you want to say it, it's actually loose. I don't know if it's going to continue to work. We're almost even. It's dead even right now. Oh, please don't break. Please don't break. This one's hard. I don't want to push it. I know what my next problem is. It ain't gonna stay here. So now is where I have to make a decision. If I keep going with it to get it slightly higher so I can get that self-leveler in between those two layers, is it gonna crack then? I do have some separation in there between the stone. The only problem is there's not enough separation. Not enough for that leveler to actually fill in. So I'm kind of screwed at the moment, and I don't want to drill any more holes in this to get filler in there, because if I start drilling and vibrating, I'm afraid with the stress at these points that it will then cause it to crack. So I think I'm gonna keep pushing it and just keep going around evenly and see if I can get it a little high and create a little bit more of a gap so I can get some leveler in there. My heart rate is up right now. Like, this is kind of intense because it's one of those things. I'm on the verge. I know that the next crank could just crack this slab and then I'm totally besides replacing it. So I've got the action camera right there. You guys can see clearly when I speed this up, the slab moved. It's moved 3/8 of an inch. There's almost no wobble there. I might be able to pour it in the cracks and get it to just keep working in there. That would be amazing. What I might do is drill some holes all the way around the seam. Yeah, I just got an idea. So these gaps are already pretty big between these slabs or these relief joints here. So I'm going to get like a 3/8 concrete bit, and I'm just gonna drill a bunch of holes all the way around that joint in this area in question and put the self-leveler in there as well. So hopefully it'll work its way down in those areas and just fill as many of these voids as we can. I think if I do that, it might work. I have good news, really good news. I drilled 5/8 holes every 12 inches all the way along that relief joint and most of the way down that one. And what I noticed was on this side, when it would break through, there was definitely a bigger gap. So I think I'm just gonna fill, I mean, that's almost a 1/2 inch gap right there. I'm just gonna continue to fill this. It's gonna go down through those 5/8 holes. I had an old piece of air hose I cut at an angle, and I stuck these down in each hole and vacuumed as much as I could. So I think I have a really good chance of that self-leveler flowing in through those holes and filling a void. I think there's a pretty decent void all through this relief joint here on both sides of that joint. Otherwise, I'm gonna mix up this cement as watery as I can, and we'll start filling it in there. All right, here we go. This is gonna be interesting, and it's probably gonna be a bit of a mess. Maybe more water? I need a more watery consistency. It's flowing right down in there now. This is exactly what I needed. Just gonna keep filling it. All right, I'm gonna throw you guys on a time lapse. This is kind of fast paced because it sets up really quick, and I wanna try to manage the mess here. So we'll check back in when I'm done, and we'll have to let this sit for a little bit. That's about all I can do for tonight. I've got all these joints filled. I really wasn't planning on filling these joints up with that self-leveler, but there was really no way around it. It was gonna happen. The way I was filling them, and I had to keep pushing it into those joints, I had to fill them. Worst case scenario, if I have to come back here and cut another relief joint in there, you know, so be it. But overall, I mean, you can see this is straight up, completely level. The bad section, which is this side, probably a 1/16 higher than this side. So I was able to get it up a little bit. I didn't want to push it too far. I'm hoping that tomorrow when I release everything, it maybe will settle a little bit, and I'd be totally fine with it staying just the way it is. Crazy thing was that hole right there took about a half a bag just by itself. It was just never ending. I went outside 2 times to make sure there wasn't like a little critter hole that it was just splooging out of, for lack of better terms. And it wasn't, so there must have just been a giant void underneath there. there was very little movement on that far side. The most settling was right here in this corner. And knowing what I know now, I could tell you one thing that I would not have done, and that is I would not have cored that 4-inch hole. It was kind of nice and convenient because I had a bit of a window, but you saw when I filled that thing up, it really didn't take a whole lot. So that was a bit of a bust. I think the ticket here was to just drill those larger holes every foot or so along that seam and fill it up that way. That way it gets a nice equal fill all the way around those edges. There may still be a couple of voids, you know, throughout the middle section here. There's really nothing I can do about it. So I'm not out of the woods yet. I still have to release all the pressure off of the C-channel. I'm gonna let this set up overnight. We'll come back out here tomorrow. I'll take off that tension, we'll pull off the steel, and we'll see if it stays in place. I think it's gonna work. Either way, you're gonna find out in about 1 second. It's the next day. I dumped out some of the excess self-leveling compound or whatever the hell it is. And this stuff is like pretty hard. Pretty much like concrete or like grout. Now, let's see how it turned out on the floor. Yeah, that's like concrete. I don't know how good that's gonna be in a joint. I mean, essentially there's still a relief there if it were to want to crack, but it might actually be a good thing when I have these floors ground down and polished. That might just make a real nice transition right there. We did end up using two, I think they're 50-pound bags, 55-pound bags. We used about 110 pounds of this stuff that we have underneath that slab now. That's been about 24 hours since I poured this, and they gave me, yeah, 24 hours is good for 6,000 PSI, 7 days, 7 days equals 7,000 PSI, 28 days, 9,000 PSI. So we should be just fine to take the tension off there and see if it shifts. So I'm gonna set my action camera down there just so we can speed this up and see if there's any movement. It's gonna be hard to tell in real time. I did consider drilling a 5/8 hole here and over here somewhere and filling them, but I think we're gonna be in pretty good shape around the perimeter. I can always come back and do it. I just wanna get the tension off of it. And I'd like to drop the plasma table back down too. I'm gonna do the same thing and just slowly rotate. There's a lot of spring load on the steel right now, so it will take a minute to get that spring load off there. I don't think it's gonna move. I don't think it's even gonna settle down. I think the way that that joint is filled all the way along that perimeter, any voids there are gonna kind of lock the two slabs together. My initial thought was to go a little high and maybe it would compress down, but I don't think that's gonna happen. They're all unloaded. All right, all the tension is off from the C-channel. Let's take a quick look at that action camera footage. I'll speed it up a bit here and we can see if there was any movement. I have no idea what it looks like right now. But what I'm seeing here in person, I don't think it moved at all. All right, I'm gonna take a couple minutes here, remove all the steel, pull all the all thread out, kind of sweep everything up, and we'll drop the weight down on that plasma table and we'll test it out. All right, let's set the plasma table down. All right, she down. Oh, nice smooth transition. Now for some real test. Let's roll the welding cart back over it. Oh, did I just drive over a seam? I didn't even realize it. That is nice. That is real nice. And let's do the scaffold. Oh. Barely even felt it. It actually is a little high now. If you look at it, it slightly drops down. That was the ultimate test. Now, as far as the holes for the drop-ins, I think what I'm going to do is cut out like a small little penny on the plasma table, drop it down in there, and then just fill this with self-leveling caulk. That way, if I ever needed to, I can pull it out of there and possibly do some more lifting. I don't think I'm going to need to. And then, like I said, this is a regret right here. Definitely did not need it. But when they come out and grind the floors, and polish them, you're just gonna see a circle right here. It shouldn't be a problem. There's a pretty good chance that the fixture table is gonna be covering up that anyway. Well, maybe not. I think it's gonna be in the walkway. Either way, it still beats having a 3/8 gap or ledge when you're rolling stuff across the floor. I am just ecstatic that that worked. I honestly thought it was gonna crack. I'm like, there's just no way this is gonna be one of those fail videos, you know, just show you the real raw stuff that happens, but it worked. So now I am ready to put all the steel wainscoting on this wall. I'll be working on that for next week's video. So this wall's finally gonna be going back together and we can get this table up and running because I have some cool projects I wanna work on. But let me know what you guys think. Definitely let me know your suggestions, maybe what you would do different. This video is just for reference only. If you're having an issue with the slab, maybe this is an option for you or some variation of what I did today. It sure as hell beats spending $2,000, at least in my case, to have this foam jacked. And the thing with foam jacking is it's not guaranteed for life. They gave it a 5-year guarantee or warranty. I mean, that foam, in my opinion, it's gonna fail at some point. Then you're right back where you started. Blacked out. Well, that's all I got for this one. I hope you guys enjoyed it and got a little bit of information out of it. Please consider subscribing to the channel. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one. Oh, great. Freaking hole. It's bad. I missed something. Damn it! Damn it, Harry! Now the furnace came on. I think I'm gonna get into the slab jacking business. I could have made 2,000 bucks in a couple days. One more very important thing that I want to add. This cost me $300, but like I said, if I knew what I knew now, I would not have drilled that 4-inch hole. This bit right here was like $112. Take that 283 and subtract 114 or whatever the hell it was, I don't know. What would that be? So you're under $200 to do what I did here. 10% of the original quote. Wow. I can't even tell if there's fiber in this. I don't think there is. Oh yeah, I think there is. I see some little fiber hairs in there. Little puby looking things. Puby fibers are strong, but not that strong. Oh, it's better work. It's better work. What I have is a 12-foot son of a Adam. You just totally ruined my intro.
Your intro.
Well, it was an intro. Now it's...
Well, you should just keep it rolling and just be like, Adam, Hometown Anchor's calling me again. He's always calling me.
When did you start using that kind of foul language? You don't do that on your channel.
Yeah.
Next time I want to buy something expensive and the wife complains, I'll be like, just remember all that money I saved by raising that concrete myself. You got to play the angles and the dangles.